Hi everyone, my name is Lera. I am a cross stitcher from Russia. I live in a smaller town near Moscow, and this is my second Flosstube video. And one of the questions that I got asked on my first video was how long have I been stitching? So I have quite a long history with cross stitching. Basically, my mom used to cross stitch, and she does now, but not a lot because she I think she doesn't just have time for that. But basically, we have this arts class in school where girls were taught, at least in my time, were taught how to cross stitch. And by the time that class started, I already knew how to cross stitch. So I think I would have been 8 or 9 when my mother taught me. But it didn't stick, so I think I did a couple of small kits or maybe some small projects from cross-stitching magazines. Then I picked up cross-stitching again when I was a teenager. Maybe I was around 13, maybe 14. I remember that I did a couple of pillowcases. Probably, I think, that those were Vervaco kits. And then I also did a couple smaller projects which I gifted. So basically I don't have anything to show you because nothing survived all of my moves across the city. And then I started stitching in 2020. So during COVID, everyone got a hobby. And I remembered that I liked to cross stitch. So I decided to pick it up because I was I had a very intense job and it required a lot of my mental energy, and I wanted to do something with my hands. So I picked up cross stitching, and I have been stitching actively without any pauses since 2020, so 4 years. 3.5 maybe. So on my 4th year right now. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'll gladly answer them. And today I'm coming to you with my June progress. But before we begin, I need to make a couple of shout-outs, and then I'll show you the progress itself. I have a couple of finishes, a couple of FFOs actually, but smaller ones. And I also have just progress on some random stuff, and also I have a start, I think. Yes. But before we continue with that, let me give you a huge shout out to my stitcher friend, who is Maria the Green Stitcher. Most of you are probably here from her channel and her shout out. Basically, Maria had a channel in Russian, and I also have a channel in Russian, and then she decided to do an English channel about cross-stitching, and I kind of was inspired by her, by the fact that she can do both. And when I kind of voiced my thoughts and said that maybe I should also try and film in English, she was very supportive. She gave me a little nudge, and I think she was one of the people that inspired me most to film in English. So Maria, thank you so much. I love you, and I'm very happy that we are stitcher friends right now. Other than that, I would like to give 2 shout-outs. So one of the first Flosstubers that I started watching was Crafty Gaming Jamie. She kind of hooked me with her how should I put it? With her, is it offensive to say craziness? But basically, Jamie has a lot of full coverage pieces, and I admire her, I don't know, belief in herself. I can't do as many as she does at the same time, but also she was kind of the first Flosstuber that I saw who was stitching geeky projects. She had some Stardew Valley designs. She was also and is now still stitching Akida from Make It Pink, and thanks to her I found Make It Pink and bought Link and Zelda, which I'm now stitching, and which Jamie is also planning to stitch. Also, Jamie, if you are watching, I left a comment like voting for your next Make It Pink start, but for some reason YouTube deleted my video. I don't know, my comment, sorry. I don't know why. But if you are watching, I'm voting for Greenland because, of course, I am stitching him. And the third shout out that I want to give is a newer find. It's a channel called Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. I think YouTube just recommended her channel to me because I am watching quite a lot of Flosstubers right now. And so I really connected with her. She's a Taylor Swift fan, which I am also, but honestly, who isn't in 2024? She also has a cute fluffy dog, and I also have a dog, and my dog's also fluffy, and I just love the designs that she's choosing. And I've also really enjoyed her video where she organized her DMC master set, and now I'm dreaming of the same drawer that she has, but I think it's not possible for me. Even if I am able to deliver it to Russia, I don't think I have like a place to store it. So anyway, those are my shout outs for today. Hopefully I'll include some more in the next videos if I don't forget. Now let's move on to the actual June progress, and let's start with finishes and FFOs. It's again very hot in Moscow right now. Today is 33 degrees. I'm filming basically at night. That's why I have a lot of weird lighting, and I have no energy to me to put any makeup on because it will melt off my face just in an instant. So I'm filming at night. I'm filming as it is just to film because, to be honest, I was feeling a bit under the weather. That's why I'm late with this video. In the future, I plan to put up a monthly update, I think, in the 1st or the 2nd of each month. Okay, let's start with an FFO, which I'm actually wearing. So as you can see, I have a rabbit or maybe a bunny on my t-shirt. It's a pen kit, and I'll show you it up close. So the kit included everything. It had like this a piece of fabric with the design that you sew onto the t-shirt. Like, I decided to stitch it on the t-shirt, and then you just basically stitch using satin stitches and gradient stitches, following the instructions. The instructions are very detailed, so I like the result, even though it's not perfect, but to be honest, I am not a fan of satin stitches. I just really love this design, that's why I stitched it, but in general I prefer cross stitch a lot more, and I felt that this design like took up a lot of my time, but I'm happy with the result. And of course the kind of the main benefit of it is that I can wear it. One of the reasons that I wanted to stitch something on my t-shirt is because I have another t-shirt, the same one as this one, and I've stitched a small design of Mama Witch cross stitch on that t-shirt, and I am constantly wearing it. So if I have like all of my t-shirts in a line, I would always choose the one that has some sort of piece stitched by me on it. So I figured that I need to stitch more on clothing. That's why I decided to stitch this rabbit, and now I can wear it and look cute. And I put it on when I was meeting with my stitcher friends, and they really liked it, made a lot of compliments, and I felt how did I feel? I felt seen and loved, and very proud of myself that I did this satin stitch piece, because again, I'm not a big fan of satin stitches. Okay, let me show you a really tiny start and FFO. So, can you see it even? I think you can't see it, but of course I'll zoom in. So, this is a seagull, which is a fully beaded project. It is from a Russian designer. Her name is Guli Stitch. This was a design that was given for free as a kind of entry gift for those who were attending a St. Petersburg needlework market. And I didn't know that she actually made some kits. So I had this postcard with the chart, but I am too lazy to to buy all of the beads, especially for this small design. So then I went to a Minsk needlework market that was in June, and Gula Stitch was also there, and I saw that she sold this kit, and I decided to buy it. It cost 400 rubles, which is, to be honest, quite a lot for this small design. But I knew that I'm too lazy to to buy all of the materials myself, so I decided to buy it and to stitch it, and of course I finished it, I don't know, within an hour, maybe, I don't know, hour and a half, and it's really cute. I'm planning to... Oh, it's not an FFO, sorry, I lied. I plan to attach a chain to it and to make it a keychain. I think it will look cute. Maybe I'll add it to my keys, or I don't know, maybe my backpack. So it is stitched on this acrylic canvas, like acrylic blank. I don't know, again, please help me how to call them. Native English speakers, please help me. So it also had a cutout felt. So basically, like I've stitched it completely. I've backed it with felt. And now I just need to attach a chain to it. Yeah, it looks cute. And now I'll show you 3 finishes, which were whips in my first video, and I finished them during the month of June. So the first one is a Crochette Agogo pattern. Again, these are called, I think, Window of Time. This brand has these window designs for each month. I had a March design in my whips, and I finished it in June and I started it in March. This is Zweigart Lugana, color number 501, and I was stitching it using DMC floss, 1 strand over 1 full cross. So this is how it looks. It's tiny, so tiny. I hope it focuses correctly. It also has fractional back stitching. I don't know why this kind of primitive design needs fractional back stitching. I think it's unnecessary, but even though I was stitching 1 over 1, I still did everything following the chart. So I did those fractional back stitches. So I love how this turned out. For some reason I thought it would be bigger, but it's quite small. I'm not planning to start any of the other months at the moment, but I will stitch them eventually. So if you remember, I had a Mill kit in my whips. It was called Greenland Santa from the Arctic Circle Santa's collection, and I finished it. I'm stitching this on the same acrylic canvas, using everything that the chart called for. Only I think that the chart said to do cross stitches in 3 strands, and I used 2 strands. I didn't enjoy this project, to be honest. For some reason it was quite draining. The colors didn't inspire me, and I was finishing it just to finish it. I just wanted to get rid of it and to delete it from my whips. I didn't want to UFO it. I wanted to see the finished result, but it didn't bring me joy. I liked these pops of color, like the red gloves, the yellow bell. I like to do their mustache and beard, but these grayish, beigey colors were all kind of similar, and this part, who is this? It's a goat? I don't know what kind of animal it is. So it had like a bit of confetti, so I didn't enjoy the process, but I like the finished result. And I also will show you the full series. So these sentences are released in 3s, so Okay, I've showed you the Greenland. This is a Nunavut Santa, I think, which is the one with the polar bear. This one is my favorite, but I changed this part of the chart. I wanted to do like a more pronounced nose, and that's why I added 3 black petite beads to kind of basically I did some plastic surgery on this poor bear. And I also have this one with the reindeer. I don't remember the name of the kit, I'm sorry, but they are all from the Arctic Circle collection. Oh, this is also my favorite. Basically, I don't like the one with the goats. The others are fine. This is very colorful compared to the other two. It has green beads, like this red like fabric on the deer. Also, the Santa's clothes are also quite colorful. This was a joy to stitch. This was just easy to stitch, and this was not a joy to stitch. But again, I finished only the Greenland Santa. In June, I just wanted to show off the fully finished series. And the last finish that I have is a puffin pattern. This is a Russian brand called Made with Love. So this was a whip, and now it's a finished object. I don't know what I will do to it. I don't know how I want to fully finish it. So if you have any ideas, please leave them down below. So as I've said, the kit includes Kirov's floss. It's a Russian floss brand which is made in St. Petersburg, and I don't like this floss. I hate it, and after finishing this project, I decided that I will not buy any kits that use Kirov's floss. I can't deal with it. I want to enjoy the process, even though I don't know, I think I'm a mix between a process and a product stitcher, because I want to have fun in the process, but I am usually striving for the finished result. So once I see, once I finish, like, I admire my stitching, I am very proud of myself. I can look at it for a couple of days and think to myself that I'm so wonderful. I've made this with my hands, and how is it possible? And I'm so good at this. But then I lose interest in the finished object, and I just put it in my drawer and then don't think about it twice. And then it lives in my drawer, and it's very rare that I take something out to fully finish it. So I'm a mix. So I'm a process stitcher who aims to have a finished product, but once I finish, I want to move on to the second whip and finish it, and it's an endless cycle. Those were all of the finishes that I have, and now let's move on to some progress that I made on a couple, maybe several of my... Again, why so many kits? Most of these are kits. So the first one is an oven kit, which is called Light on the Water. It calls for DMC, floss, and Zweigart Ada, 16 count, and that's what I'm stitching it on. So this is how much progress I've made. Everything below this line is new, so I only had this part, and I've added the darker half crosses here and a bit of crosses on the right side as well. My initial plan was to finish this whip in July or in August, but I changed my mind. I don't have like inspiration to do my summer cross stitching for some reason. Usually I'm a seasonal stitcher, and like in summer I want to stitch sea-inspired things. In spring I want to stitch flowers, and for some reason I want to stitch winter and autumn projects right now. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I won't be restricting myself. I will be stitching whatever I want. So I decided to, like, not UFO, but basically I decided that this project will go to the drawer and will wait for the next summer, or maybe I'd decide to pick it up in winter. To be honest, I don't know what's happening to me and my inspiration and mood. I'm all over the place, but I've decided for now that I won't be continuing with this project at the moment. I'll wait till next year, and I think the same goes with the next whip. It's a Dimensions kit, which is called Sweetheart's Gate. So it looks like this, and I've made tiny progress on this one. I've added, I think, less than 400 stitches. So I moved my Nurge, how are they called? They are not called hoops, yeah? So basically I moved my Nurge, it's number 3. It was up here and I moved it down, and I hoped that it would help me because I will have more free space, more directions where I could stitch, but it didn't work. So I struggle with this pattern. It has a lot of small areas which are, as you can see here, I can't say that it's confetti, but it's not comfortable. You have to always count, and it just takes time, it takes a lot of energy, and right now I want to stitch something easier, something more relaxed, and that's why I decided that that whip is also going to live in the drawer till the next year. But since everyone is doing a Christmas in July, I decided that I want to join in and I want to do some holiday stitching as well. So I want to finish one of the trucks from this Dimension kit. It's called Holiday Truck Ornaments, and right now I have in my whips only one. In June I've added 500 stitches to it, and I really want to finish it in July. Let's see how it goes. It's quite small. I think I have 2,000 stitches left, but I have some bigger projects that I want to give more attention to. So hopefully I will manage. I know it doesn't seem a lot when I say that I only have 2,000 stitches here left, but I'll show you some of the next projects and you'll understand why it may be more difficult than it seems. Next, I'll show you a whip that you'll be seeing, I think, every month for the next 5 or 7 years. It's my full coverage piece, which I'm stitching on Zweigart Congress Tramin 24 count using DMC 2/1 10th stitch. Okay, I've managed. So this is how it looks. I've added this part and I've reached the mountain peaks. In my whip parade, I said that it's such a big piece for me, that it will take so long to reach the mountain peaks, and what do you know? I've reached them. I started stitching the sky here, then I looked at the charts and I figured that I have to do a couple of strands here and there and I'll be able to reach the mountains and to start stitching them. And I was quite motivated to do that because I got tired of this beigey sky and it has big areas to fill. And sometimes it's not the most exciting thing to do, so now I alternate. So I do one strand here, which has a lot of confetti, and then I'll do maybe a couple of strands here, which the colors cover a bigger area. And so it makes the process more diverse, I would say. I think it looks better from afar. You can see how the colors blend into each other, because when I look at it like this, it may seem a bit strange and maybe a bit pixelated, but from afar it looks great. So I have a new whip. I made a start in June. It's a pattern by Olga Lankevich. Her handle is Paradise Stitch. I'm stitching this design using this thread keeper. It's by a brand called Eternal Items. Some of the comments on my previous video were about these thread keepers. So you can find them on Instagram, I think, Eternal Items. I think their handle is eternalitems_ru, and they have a website, and I've asked them. They ship internationally, and I have a discount code with them, which is LeraStitch15. You can use that, and it will give you a 15% discount on some of their thread keepers. So not on all of the models that I have, but most of them. And this is the color palette. I'm using the Cold 4 DMCs, and I'm stitching this design on a Zweigart Murano color 7011. So this is how it looks right now. It's gorgeous. It also uses a metallic DMC thread, which is not very comfortable to work with, but it looks great, and I really love how it's turning out. In her VK group, Olga has a competitive cell, which I'm participating in. Basically, there are teams of 2, and each week, every member of the team needs to stitch 500 stitches on a Paradise Stitch whip, and for each FO we get points. And 5 teams with the most amount of points win this competitive cell. And we had kind of, I don't know how to call them, maybe midterm results, and some of the teams were eliminated, and our team thankfully stayed in the game. But now we need to stitch 1000 stitches every week on a Paradise Stitch whip. So that's why you see so much progress done in just 1 month, because I am taking it out every week. I'm putting 1,000 stitches in every week, sometimes even more. And for now, I don't plan to leave the competition. We are planning to to stay and to fight, but we'll see how it goes, because to be honest, I am starting to get a bit burned out by it. But when I started this design, I kind of felt a new wave of inspiration, motivation. The chart is very easy to follow. It has large areas to fill, and it's just beautiful. And Paradise Stitch is one of my favorite designers of all time, I think. I've stitched a lot of her pieces, so I really enjoy both the process and the product. But again, because I am participating in the cell for since, I think we have been participating since October or November, so I'm stitching her designs every week. That's why I probably am a bit tired, but we'll see how it goes. So I don't have any plans regarding this project apart from the 4,000 stitches in a month that I need to do, and I will start stitching it today. I don't know, maybe if I have the time and the desire, I'll stitch more. Maybe I'll want to finish it, because usually with Olga's patterns, it's a bit kind of, you get a bit tired maybe in the middle, and then when you cross the maybe 70% line or maybe 75% line, then you just want to finish it, to stitch this whip non-stop and to finish it, because again, her designs are very easy to stitch and they look beautiful. I have one more thing to show you. Of course, I saved the best for last. This is Link from Make It Pink, and right now it looks like this because I've bought a scroll frame to stitch him, and it's quite big. It's 60 centimeters, so I don't know if I can fit in both him and myself in the frame, so I'll hopefully show you like this, and hopefully you will see everything. If you want to see his face with all of the back stitching done, please watch my whip parade. I stood up to show you some details up close. So this is also the sword. I've actually redone some of the stitching in the sword, so I've redone the coaching that I had. I didn't like how it turned out. I think because I was traveling and taking Link with me, some of the stitches got warped, and I decided that it's better to just redo them. So that's what I did. I finished this belt and this part of the belt and everything here as well. And in July, I plan to do his cape, which is here. And I can show you this part of the sword as well, and some hands, some details. He's gorgeous, isn't he? I looked at myself in the camera and I look so stupid. But as I said, I am planning to make some progress on his cape. I'm not sure that I'll be able to finish it completely with all of the back stitching and all and coaching, but I plan to add at least 1000 stitches, hopefully 2000 stitches, because we have a small cell with Marie the Green Stitcher, who I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and according to our rules, we stitch at least 1000 each month, not to keep kind of to constantly make some progress on these big patterns, because and they are quite meticulous, sometimes they are tedious, but like it's worth all of the time and all of the energy spent on this gorgeous man. Let's talk plans. So most of them I've already mentioned. I plan to make some progress on Link, to continue working on my Paradise Stitch pattern, to finish one truck from Dimensions, and I'll add 1500 to my full coverage piece as usual. Apart from that, as you know, I've started filming in English just last month, but I have been filming cross-stitching videos in Russian for quite some time. And I host a lot of sales for the Russian community. And one of the sales is coming up, which will be Halloween-themed one. I think I can't invite you to that because it will be held in my Telegram chat, and there are only Russian-speaking users there. But if you know Russian or you want to practice Russian, you are welcome. I'll leave the link down below. But basically, that's not the point. The point is that this Halloween sale will start in August. And me and my friend Natasha, we both host this sale together. And we will release videos each week when this sale will be active. And we need to do a lot of preparation for the sale, and we need to stitch a lot of things in advance, and we'll need to film a lot of things in advance. So that's what I will do in July. So basically I'll start stitching Halloween stuff in July, maybe towards the end of July. That's why I won't have time, and I'm already not in the mood for any summer projects, because we are like in the active phase of organizing everything, figuring like little pieces that we haven't figured out yet, of basically doing everything we can in order to prepare and not to do anything last minute. So that's what I'll be spending my July on, apart from the things that I've shown you. So probably in my July update, you'll already see some Halloween projects, I think. There will be quite a lot of starts because I don't have any... No, I have one Halloween whip at the moment, and I plan to start a lot more. That's all I have for you cross-stitching wise, but if you're interested in more personal things like my trips, books that I've read, you can stay, and then I'll close the video out. In general, June was quite busy for me, and I think the following months will be even busier for me because I am preparing for a needlework market that will be held in Moscow in September. I will be one of the members, and I will sell handmade clay needle minders, which of course I've made myself. I haven't launched it as a business yet. I am building everything from the ground up, doing all of the work myself, of course, and it takes quite a lot of time, like physically making things, but sometimes just mentally, like giving a lot of my energy to that, like startup, let's call it that. And I didn't manage to do everything that I wanted in June because life has been lifing. I had a trip to Minsk. I also didn't feel very well at the end of the month, but it's okay. Like I don't have, of course I do have a deadline, but I'm not like dying and trying to reach some, I don't know, unrealistic goal. Like however many things I managed to do, to make, then that many things I will sell. So, but I am spending quite a lot of time and energy on that. And as I mentioned, I had a trip to Minsk in Belarus. They had a smaller, like I say smaller, it's quite big for Minsk and Belarus, but it's quite small in like comparing to Moscow needlework markets. So I went to a Minsk needlework market, which is held there annually. And this was my first time in Belarus, first time in Minsk, and first time joining this needlework market specifically. The thing that I once again discovered when I was in Minsk is that I'm very used to a big city or even to a megapolis, because I was born in Moscow and I love the scope of everything. So our city is quite advanced in terms of public transport, entertainment, just I don't know, everything. Maybe I just really love my city. And usually all of the other cities, they are bleak in comparison. So like when I went to Minsk, I felt that it was still like in year 2000 compared to Moscow. Again, the city is great. I just don't vibe with it. So I felt quite bored there. I didn't know what to do. It doesn't have a lot of like sightseeing spots which were interesting for me. So I kind of just roamed around the city, found some places that attracted my attention, but I can't say that I fell in love with the city. And even though I would like to return for maybe a couple of days to visit some places that I didn't have time to visit, in general, this is not a city that I'm drawn to. This is not a city that I'd like to spend like a lot of time in. Again, I don't want to offend anyone who loves Minsk, but it just like the vibes, I didn't vibe with it. That's it. So it was maybe like, it's a good relaxing journey. So you go there, you kind of decompose. For me, at least. For me, it's a city for decomposing and just, I don't know, gaining up the energy if you are drained from living in the big city, which I am not. The Minsk needlework market didn't inspire me as well, and the reason for that again is because I am from Moscow. So most of the sellers that participated in the Minsk market were from Russia. And because in Moscow we have needlework markets 3 times a year, and in autumn, in September, the one which I will be participating in, it is the biggest one. I would say it's huge. I've seen all of the products, all of the patterns and the charts, everything, basically everything. The accessories, I've seen everything that was on display in Minsk. I've already seen it in Moscow. So I kind of didn't make any new discoveries there. And it was a bit disappointing for me because that was the whole reason that I went to Minsk, and maybe I just had more expectations and I shouldn't have. My hopes were that in Minsk I will find new designers or maybe brands which are located in Belarus and who maybe don't travel to Moscow and don't participate in our markets. But as I found out when I was there are only, I think, 1 or 2 designers from Belarus and 1 or 2 brands who make kits from Belarus. And those were not in my style. So basically, I almost bought nothing there, which is a shocker for me because I usually go to markets and like I save up and allow myself to splurge. But that didn't happen in Minsk. Basically, I bought an over-dyed fabric from my friend, from whom I always buy over-dyed fabric. And I think I bought a Permin kit for my friend, and that's it. But because I didn't make a lot of purchases in Minsk, when I came back, I ordered the scroll frame for Link, so like I'm not mad. But I don't know. I have doubts about me returning to Minsk both as a seller and both as a just attendee of the Minsk needlework market. Again, I don't want to sound pessimistic or overly negative because of course I did have fun there. I spent time with my stitcher friends, we had a good laugh, we went for drinks after the market. But I can do all of those things without the market with my friends. So, I don't know. I'm glad that I took the journey, but I don't know if I would take it again. I'll stop whining about my trip to Minsk and let's talk about the book that I've finished reading in June, which is written by Lillian Paul and it's called The Bees. So, I was in the mood for some bee-related things. I've stitched a bumblebee pattern in May, and I think I've started reading this book in May, and as I've said, I finished it in June. So this book was recommended to me by my mother. She really enjoyed it, and also my stitcher friend, with whom we'll be hosting a Halloween sale, has also decided to read this in June. So we were reading it at the same time. I don't want to read you the abstract because I think it spoils some of the main events that will happen in the book. But basically everything happens within a hive, and bees have a totalitarian society. And one of the bees who is born, her name is Flora 717. She is born into the lowest class of the society, and due to some circumstances, she isn't killed, even though she's supposed to, and she starts to kind of, her status grows over time because of the things she does. I think that this book is an exploration of personal desires that we have and the responsibilities that we have to take, and how can we balance all of those things and still feel fulfilled and don't feel guilt. But that's just like touching the surface. Of course, I think the author wanted to comment on the today's society, but I don't see this book as being political. I just viewed it as an exploration of myself, of the things that I want to do and the things that were pushed onto me from childhood, and I don't know. I don't think it's frightening, as apparently Guardian thinks. I don't think that this book changes the way we see our world, as Sunday Times think, but I do think that it's gripping, as Margaret Atwood thinks, as written here. New York Times thinks that it's ambitious, propulsive, addictive, and astonishing. I don't see anything ambitious here. I can't say that it's addictive, but it's astonishing, okay. What confuses me most about this book is that I still don't understand what the author tried to say. So maybe because I have a bachelor's degree in teaching English, that my education was very closely related to linguistics. We had a lot of linguistics classes and courses. So every time I read something, I judge it from a linguistic perspective. And most of the book is written about the events that happen in the hive, from the hive. So they are told from Flora's, the main character, perspective. But we have an epilogue and a prologue which are told from people's perspective. I won't read the part that confuses me most, but if you've read the book, I will be interested in how you've interpreted the things that a young girl said in the epilogue. Because I had 5 interpretations of the epilogue, and I still don't know how, like, I don't know which I want to choose for myself. Like, as a linguists, we are taught to find the main idea of anything that we read. And the main idea is hidden in the things that the young girl says, in my opinion. And I don't know what the main idea is, and that's why I'm still processing it. My battery is running low, so I'll get going. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a month with my July progress. Thank you for listening to me ramble about all of the things that I wanted. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a month. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you. Bye.